Hi guys, just thought I'd share this little on the side of the road cabinet making hack. Basically I spilt a whole litre of water on my very expensive power inverter and I'm still gutted, and it's been 2 weeks. Anyway, so I had to buy a cheapy Chinese one, and it's underpowered of course, so it runs my jigsaw, my angle grinder for a little while, my hoover for not very long and not very powerfully, my drill, thank God, it runs my drill, and my plunge cutter. Those three basically, and thank God it runs this. Now the only problem with using a jigsaw as a ripsaw, which is what I'm trying to do, there's a V, this cut here, you see, you'll see what I'm doing later on. Well, what I was noticing was happening, well, not that I'm noticing was happening, I've known about it, I've been working with tools all my life. What happens is, with a jigsaw, even if you've got a thick blade like this is a good quality wood cutting blade, what tends to happen, it's great for the cross grain, no problem on the cross grain, but when you start going down the grain, the blade starts to follow, or can follow, the grain, and what actually happens is it starts to bend. It starts to bend like that. So from above it looks like you're going straight, and then you look down and your blade is bent. It's bent like a banana, and you just can't get a straight joinery type cut. Try as you might, you might get lucky a couple of times depending on the grain of the wood and the quality of the hardness. But anyway, so my hack was to, because normally I would use my my disc cutter in this, my workbench, but it's not powerful enough to get through the wood. It will cut, but it won't. It will just stop. The blade will just keep stopping because the inverter isn't powerful enough. So what I come up with was some guy was trying to clamp my motorhome, and he kindly stuck this on my van, and it's a really good quality aluminium plastic. It's like hard plastic with an aluminium sheet on the back. So I saw it and I thought, that's useful, I'll keep that. Thank you very much, Mr. Clamper Man, who actually couldn't clamp me because my motorhome is my domicile, so he had to take the clamp off, and it was very satisfying. So what I did was I cut to the shape of the bottom of the jigsaw. I won't go into depth why I cut it out and all this, because all the plate had to come off. I had to take all this plate off. So I cut it to the shape of the sole of the jigsaw, and then this was just going to be a test just to see if it would work. So I just sort of like wanted to throw it together, but I kind of threw it together quite well because I'm an engineer by trade, so I can't do things badly really. So I put 2 rivets in. I just drilled 2 holes, put 2 rivets in, and what I've done, this is the bit that's important. If you look in there, there's a little tiny cut to the width, exactly the width of that blade. And what that stops it from doing is, first of all, it stops it from jumping out of the guide wheel. The guide wheel's in here. Can you see it down there? It stops it from, you can see it better from the top actually, you can see what I'm doing now. It stops it from jumping out of the guide wheel, and it also stops the blade from bending. The blade, it shortens the blade, which makes it stronger, and it can't go from side to side. So that's my little hack to turn your jigsaw into a ripsaw if you get caught out and you really need to get on with your work. It seems to be working fine. This is the cut I've just done. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful cut. Normally what would happen is it would start straight, and then it would start to slowly wander, and it would start to sort of undulate and ovulate like that, you know, go up and down, sort of ovulate, undulate, and the opposite of undulate, which I thought was ovulate, but it's not. But it's very minute, and you don't see it until you put it up against your work. You can just start to see the imperfections. So yeah, so that's my little straight edge setup. So yeah, it's a little hack for you. I've got another couple of little hacks as well, which I'll show, which are quite handy. So there you go. So turn your jigsaw into a ripsaw in a pinch. Love you, squeeze you, hug you. Question everything. Jesus loves you. See ya.